Hello, this is Dredge Fox 27 here with my girlfriend, and today's topic we're going to talk about Dryad Arbor and should he be banned or should he not be banned for the newest artwork or the 2012 From the Vault artwork. For me right now, I feel like that very strongly against that being banned right now, mainly because you have a card that literally is made a bit differently, and I'll show it in the video here, that has very distinct traits from being a basic land. And the reason people are thinking of banning it is because it looks like a basic forest. Even though it has a 1/1 in the text box where all creatures have their power and toughness. And it's very interesting to see how people would like to get this banned because of the artwork, and they rather go from future sight artwork instead of the artwork, which I feel like just because it has different artwork should not mean it should be banned just because of the artwork. And I'm here with my girlfriend who does not play Magic at all and is completely does not care about Magic, but likes to talk about this type of stuff. So she's here with me today.
Hi, I'm the girlfriend. I know nothing about Magic, but I like to give my opinion because that's the kind of person I am. So tell me what this thing is. What is this? I don't know what this is.
Well, right now it's a card that is a creature and a land.
Uh-huh.
And
what is a land?
A land is pretty much stuff you use to tap for mana. And
so points?
Not points.
Oh, no?
No points.
Okay.
Mana is your way. You play one land per turn, and then for the amount of lands you have, you get to tap for whatever converted mana cost, or whatever the creature color is, and all that. So Dryad Arbor is very interesting as it was created as both a land and a creature, where when you summon it, it has summoning sickness, so it can't tap for mana right away, like a basic land you could. But it is also treated as a land.
Yeah.
And right now, people are wanting it to ban the newest artwork, which looks like this, and they want to ban it because they feel like it looks too much like a basic land and it gets too confusing for people, and if it was banned it would be better for people because the future sight that looks like this is a lot easier to differentiate from a basic land, and you know right away that it's a Dryad Arbor. As in this one, people say, it's not at all different from a basic land and it'll get us confused, and when you get confused, then you could be cheating, could not be cheating, all that.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, an artist's point of view, I do art, by the way, they don't look too similar. I mean, of course they have similar qualities, because if it's a forest or a creature and a land, and then this is your land, then of course it's going to have similar qualities to your land, because it's also a land. So, I mean, I don't see how it would be too confusing unless they were practically the same card, but they're not. So why do people think this is confusing?
It came up recently at one of pro tournaments thing. I think it was I can't remember right offhand. It was like
I don't need names, I just need to know what happened.
So what ended up happening is a guy plays a land for turn, and
yes,
a couple turns later, the other pro player swung in, and then with a creature with menace, and then the guy used Dryad Arbor that he played a couple turns prior to block it, killed the creature, and kind of messed up the guy's whole thinking plan. And he said, I honestly thought it was a basic land, didn't realize it was a Dryad Arbor, and if I knew it was a Dryad Arbor, I would have played differently. And people think that is a sense of controversy right now.
Okay, so here I have two theories going on in my mind for that dude. Theory one he probably he was thinking a little too much about, like, how am I going to play this? How am I going to play this? What's this going to play like? What's he going to do next? He probably wasn't paying that much attention to his opponent's cards, or to all of them, I guess I could say, because you got to pay attention to some of them, I'm assuming, so that you know, like, oh, hey, this is blah, 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 blah.
You want to pay attention to them so you know what's going on.
So I think maybe he just kind of missed it, or he gave it, like, a passing glance, and he just kind of assumed.
And that's what I think.
But my second theory is they look different. So, like, yes, they look similar, but they still look different. So my second theory is he was probably salty that he lost. And he's like, oh, no, what are you talking about? You used a Dryad Arbor? Well, what? I didn't even know. I bet you if you told me it was a Dryad Arbor, I would have won. You know, that kind of thing. Because I'm not going to put it, like, not to, you know, come down on your community, but I'm not going to pass it by for some people that would do that. Because there are people that do that.
Yeah, which is understandable. I mean, this whole topic kind of has people saying they should ban the artwork. Otherwise, like another YouTuber, don't know the name right offhand right now, I'll put his link in the description below as well, says, well, if it's such a big deal, we can play it like MTGO Online, where Dryad Arbor goes in the creature slot and not the land slot. And if it's in the creatures, then you know it's Dryad Arbor, than if it was in the lands, where it could be a basic or not. But I feel like this guy, I feel like it shouldn't be banned, because it's honestly, you assumed it was a basic land, and then, you know, like, you misplayed.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Why does everyone else have to be at fault for one person's misguidance?
And that's what I'm trying to figure out here, too. There was another video,
because, I mean,
I'll put in the link.
Like, if he got confused, then that's just a simple mistake. People get confused all the time. People, like, they miss stuff, they probably weren't thinking straight, they probably didn't see it, and so, like, it's just one guy. Like, I don't understand why everyone else has to be like, oh, this really nice looking card that does this, that could be useful, I guess, is now banned because one guy thought it was confusing.
Yeah, like, that's kind of what's going on right now. The internet, when it was played live and they noticed the mistake, the internet went uproar on it on both sides.
How old did you say this card was?
This card came out originally in 2012 in one of its special sets. I think it's like From the Vault or something.
So, that card came out in 2012.
Yep.
It's 2018 right now.
Yep.
Why is that a problem? Like, if it's been out for that long, don't you think people should know, like, oh, hey, that's a Dryad Arbor, and not this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've had the spectators, like in the video, I'll put in the link below. I'm probably saying that over and over again, but just so people can get some...
Just put a little annotation on the video. All links in the description.
Yeah. He's talking about how, as him being a spectator, sometimes he doesn't even see it's a Dryad Arbor. And he feels like it's too similar to a basic land, and it's very hard to differentiate. And he says if you just ban the special Dryad Arbor and keep the original, it will make the game much better. But, you know, what do you cut in this? You know, what do you want to cut? Do you want to cut all the people who've spent their money to get this special card to put in their decks just because of someone not, you know, probably assuming that it's a basic land? And when I play, I know I have to pay attention to my opponent's field and everything. I have to know what I'm doing. And there's times I make huge mistakes, but I learn from it. And sometimes it's like, I feel like this is just a chalked up learning experience where you have to treat it as, you know,
I made a mistake, but I won't do it again, kind of thing.
Yeah, like...
Because, I mean, like, for that guy, like, let's say maybe he looked at it and maybe he couldn't see it very well because you guys are sitting on opposite ends of the table.
Yeah.
So, all you gotta do is say, hey, what does that say? Or I can't see that very well. What is that? Just, enunciate yourself, be pronounced, don't just sit there and be like, oh, that's totally this thing. If you don't know, just ask. And I'm pretty sure the other guy isn't going to have a problem like, oh, that's a Dryad Arbor.
Yeah.
Now you know.
And from what I know, yeah, that, I've had to ask, what does this card do, or what does this one do, or, look at their card and read it and try to understand it, which I can understand. And the guy never did that, but we're having this whole debate on whether this card should be banned or not, mainly because this guy didn't do anything and assumed it's a basic land. And clearly, I feel like that was a mistake on his part, and he could have done something otherwise to
correct it.
I mean, the guy played the land down. You could have asked, hey, is that a basic land or is that a Dryad Arbor? Instead of assuming it's a basic land and then later in the game go, oh, wow, that was a Dryad Arbor.
Yeah. Plus, like, the art for basic lands are different from Dryad Arbors. Dryad Arbors are normally more like, how do I explain a Dryad Arbor looking kind of card compared to a basic land card?
Well, like, the Dryad Arbor has a human figure shape. And it looks like a kind of humanoid tree. And it's specifically designed like this. There's nothing different. Dryad Arbor's never changed in looks. And you have this other... And then you have basic lands that have pretty much tried to look like forests. And, forests can look like it, forests cannot. But
I mean, is this the artwork for all Dryad Arbors, or are all Dryad Arbors different? Because
there's only 2 artworks for it right now.
Okay.
And that's Future Sight one that looks like this, and then it's the one that's from the vault, which looks like this. Other than that, there's no other cards that look like these.
Oh, so then you should be able to easily differentiate a basic land from a Dryad Arbor if there's only 2 different artworks.
Yes. It's just from what I'm seeing from what people say is,
Plus, like, it says Dryad Arbor on the card instead of, like, forest or whatever it says on a basic land. And it has this 1/1 thing in the bottom. So basic lands don't have that.
Yeah, basic lands don't have that, but apparently that's a little too hard for people to see.
Well, again, all you gotta do is ask. That's just me. I mean, if it was me and I was having a hard time, like, hey, maybe I'm nearsighted, maybe I can't see that. It was like, hey, my dude, what's that? I'm sure he'd be happy to tell me.
Yeah.
Or she. I just assumed genders, but that's okay.
That's fine. But yeah, that's kind of the whole debate right now, and I strongly think it should stay. Because that would be so stupid to have this card all of a sudden banned because it looks too similar to this when we can literally ask and see what the card is when it's being played.
Yeah. I don't see an issue with this. I mean, it was a simple mistake. Like, he got, maybe he didn't see it very well. Maybe he got confused, X, Y, and Z. But, yeah, I don't think there's a problem with this card as long as you're willing to, like, enunciate yourself and say, this is a Dryad Arbor, or ask the person if it's a Dryad Arbor if you're confused. I don't really think it's something that should go, necessarily. I mean...
I feel at this point that it should stay for the reason of that would be stupid to ban the card, have people who spent good amount of money to get, play sets or these special cards because they want to foil out their deck, but they don't want to spend who knows how much for the fusions to foil or whatever, or however they want to do it. To have them lose all that and then have to go, well, now I have to buy with the other version when they already have it. Like, I feel like that's just too stupid for someone to ban for that reason. And if they're going to make a big deal, then we clearly have to move Dryad Arbor to the creature zone than the land. Otherwise, I don't see the problem.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. I mean, to me, they look completely different. I can see the similarities, I can see the differences, and the differences are more pronounced than the similarities, to me at least, that I can tell that, oh, that's different. Hey, that's a different card. So, I mean, from somebody who doesn't know anything about Magic, if you say, look at this card, and then look at this card, now tell me the difference. I'm going to say, that one, and that's all different.
Yeah. I mean, even in the creature part, or even when it's describing the card, it says land and creature, and, you know, it even has more wording on it. And if people can't see that, they can always ask to see, what did you just play? Well, if you say Dryad Arbor, then it's like, okay, he has a 1/1 on the field. Or, you know, whatever. But, you know, sometimes it's as easy as you can't tap the land for mana. So, I don't know. I guess that's all for what I have right now on this discussion. I'm going to say, full-heartedly, it should stay. So,
I think it's fine. I think it should stay too. I don't see an issue with it. I mean, yeah, if someone, you know, only gives it a passing glance, then yeah, they may not be able to see the whole thing. But yeah, just ask. There's no shame in asking. It's not like you're stupid or anything. Just ask. You're good to go.
And I feel like the player probably could learn when he made his mistake. Learned a big thing. Granted, he did have some Twitter posts that he said, well, if I knew it was a Dryad Arbor, you know, I would have won, but I got confused that it was a basic land. But that also goes into aspect. At least check with your opponent, see what they played, know what they're doing. Don't assume anything, and that is all. Guess I'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye! Let me know if you liked me, because I might come back.
Yeah, you can put that in the comments, not comics, comments below. Thank you and bye-bye.